Welcome to Ben Matters Podcast, where combat sports, mindset, and real-life lessons collide. Hosted by Derving and Nate, we dive into jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA, and the grind that shapes athletes inside and outside the mat. Every episode we bring stories, strategies, and raw conversations that fuel growth, resilience, and community. Stay tuned because it's more than a fight, it's a lifestyle. Hello, welcome back to Man Matters Podcast, a podcast where we break down everything happening inside the cage, on the mat, and behind the scenes in combat sports. I'm your host, and sitting figuratively across from me is always ready to dish out the hot takes, my co-host, Nate. Welcome back. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you?
And for this week, we have a couple of packed news for today. First of all, we were recapping all the action from UFC Fight Night in Oklahoma City, where Dricus Du Plessis proved once again why his weird rhythm there, even though considered he was going against the Nigerian nightmare for the elite, taking down Kamaru Usman. Plus, we've got Chase Hooper doing Chase Hooper things, and Christian Leroy Duncan making a massive statement at middleweight. Then we were diving into one of the most absurd, inspiring stories we have seen in wrestling in a long time. Ben Askren stepping back onto the mat at RAF 11 against Bilal Muhammad, just 1 year after a life-threatening illness, a double lung transplant, and dropping down to 138 pounds. And finally, we're getting into the real-life talk. His 30 days sober following his arrest over Father's Day weekend. We'll talk about his path to recovery and the harsh reality fighters face when transition out of the cage. This weekend, first, we're going to start from the beginning on the main event. Dricus Du Plessis, he was able to put in a clinic against unanimous decision against Kamaru Usman. 50-48 were one of the cards. No, 50-45. And then 49-46 was the other two cards. The judges going to this fight, the biggest question was whether DDP, awkward entries, how it usually seems like he pulling shit out his ass, and his aggressive blitzes could work against someone as disciplined and defensively sound as Usman. I mean, coming out of that training camp of Trevor Whitman, they're pretty disciplined. I mean, Justin Gaethje, Rostam Mayunas, they're pretty good with the striking. But Dricus completely shut down Usman's wrestling and outworked him in the championship rounds. Looking at 25 minutes of that fight, was this the case that DDP physical size and sprawl defense simply neutralized Usman? Or are we officially seeing a physical decline of Usman pacing at 185? What do you think?
I mean, I really feel like Usman has gone downhill, unfortunately. But, I mean, Du Plessis, he's good. I mean, there's no arguing that, So, I mean, going against somebody good like Usman, it makes sense he probably was drilling a lot of takedown defense. I mean, that just makes sense. So maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, and also it's good that he took some time off because last time Du Plessis fought was in August of last year. And now this time is in July. Then before that, he did 2 fights in 2025, 2 fights in 2024. I mean, John Strickland, Israel Adesanya were the ones to championship reign between 2024 and 2025. And it seems like that time off helping improve his skills. I mean, which seems like that was his Achilles heel, going against a wrestler. It seems like he was able to work on that craft and neutralize that wrestling from other. Now, given that Usman is coming up from 170, fighting at 185, there's another factor to take into consideration.
Yeah.
And like you said, maybe also Usman is slowing down. He's, I think, 39 years old too.
Yeah, it seems like the streak that he's been on, he's struggling a bit to keep up. And I don't know if that's, all I don't know if that's mostly physical or mostly mental. I don't know what that is, but yeah, it does seem like he's not doing the same. He's not at the same level as he used to be. It seems like.
Yeah. According to his coach, he had a rough time making 170 when he fought against Buckley back in June of last year. But that's what his prime weight class was, a welterweight, 170. And taking a whole year to go up to 185. That's a point I wanted to also talk about, because a lot of fighters, they go up a weight class. It feels like you're cutting away that factor of making weight, but also you're going to get somebody that's cutting weight too, in which they are used to being at that weight class, and just making weight at a different weight class. It's not so much just easier making the weight, but also carrying your weight and being able to perform at that weight. Uh, I think Joe Rogan was talking about that Robert Whitaker moving up from 185 to 205. He felt a little sluggish. He wasn't as much of a cardio. He looked like he was struggling performing in the last fight. But also, this is Robert Whitaker fight 170 and 185. Now going 205.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, big jump. In another example of three division fighter is Alex Pereira. Remember, he went 185, 205 in heavyweight. It didn't work out for him. Being that fast of a turnaround, going to a different weight class. And that you see what some people that take time. For example, John Jones took that time to go up to heavyweight and be able comfortable performing at that weight class. Because it's one thing going up the weight class and going to a different division and going against gatekeepers compared to going against champions, a former champions. In the example of Dricus Du Plessis and Cyril Gane for Pereira.
And that's the thing. I mean, yeah, Pereira also. Cyril Gane is not only a big dude, he's athletic, very athletic. So that's extra hard. I really feel like because you're like Pereira's getting used to moving at that weight, and then he's fighting a guy who's extremely used to that weight and extremely good at moving around. Yeah, that's a hard one. That's a particularly hard case, I think.
Yeah. And it seems like also Cyril Gane is an outlier, because before that he wanted to play basketball. Usually bigger guy in basketball to have different footwork. That's a lot of footwork, explosive exercises. We do lateral movement, in jumping, landing. That's part of basketball. Not a lot of heavyweights in combat sports. They have that kind of athleticism or explosiveness or reaction time as basketball players. Basketball is considered one of the most athletic sports because you do eye hand coordination. You have to dribble a ball, jump, land, lateral movement, defending, running backwards. All of those factors when it comes to physical demand of a sport. And they are bigger guys most of the time. Another example will be Travis Brown. Was another guy was a former basketball player that decided to go into fighting. And you saw the same thing when he was really agile, jumping whenever he was fighting. And a lot of fighters, they have a hard time going against them because of it. Because they have put the extra time to put in that agility. If you try and hit somebody that leap out of your way, it's hard for you to catch up. But now, with that being said, now because of this performance of DDP, what do you think? Where does middleweight division right now? Because those 185 actually have, because you have three different guys in there. It's kind of like a trifecta, because you have Khamzat Chimaev beat DDP, DDP beat Sean Strickland, and Sean Strickland beat Khamzat Chimaev. Where does that put Dricus Du Plessis in this picture of the division?
It's hard to say, but I will say going against Usman and proving it, getting himself a victory against a renowned wrestler, that, might put him up there,
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, that's really his next challenge. I'm not saying Usman is, at the same level as he needs to get to, but yeah, it's up there.
Mm-hmm. I would think probably put him against somebody that also has in a good streak, perhaps Paulo Costa. Because I'm not sure what the extent of the injury is for Sean Strickland, because remember he said he had a shoulder injury going to that fight. I'm not sure how bad it is. Also, we don't know if that's the same injured shoulder that he had whenever he had a motorcycle accident before he moved to Vegas. So there's no telling how bad his injury is. And then while they're waiting for the champion, perhaps maybe do an interim title. And Khamzat Chimaev, I don't know what he's up to these days. If he's changing camps or such, especially after being exposed during the last fight, because he has potential. Khamzat Chimaev, it's a matter of time before he becomes a champion again. But in the case of Dricus Du Plessis, I mean, he beat the current champion twice, John Strickland. So he has a good case for fighting for the title. He had a bad night against Khamzat Chimaev, which everybody does have a bad night every once in a while.
Right.
And everybody has a bad night against Khamzat Chimaev, except for Sean Strickland. That's the only guy.
Yeah, somehow.
It feels like Sean Strickland is that crackhead that doesn't get knocked out on the games. Like, he doesn't give a damn. Just go out there and just fucking fight.
Right.
Brawl.
Yep. That is one thing I do feel like Strickland does very well is he doesn't beat himself. I feel like some people go out and like they're, it's gonna be a rough fight. It's gonna be, I gotta really try. I think Strickland goes out there and he just fights.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he overthinks it.
Yeah. And that's what makes it good. That's why he has a short-term memory, and he learns from his mistakes too. Even though he's stubborn sometimes.
I feel like he does really well against people who have a very defined game. Because Adesanya, he's not going to take you down. He's just going to strike. So Strickland, had a game plan for that. When he goes against a wrestler, he's got a game plan for that. I really feel like maybe he doesn't do so well against dynamic people, like who completely can change up their game, but against somebody who's got a defined game, I think he does all right.
Yeah, he does. He does pretty well against one-trick ponies.
Exactly, yeah. World-class one-trick ponies.
He was to back him up. And he put a piece, like a balance he likes going for. Straight up.
What's that?
Straight up. He just backs him up. Because he's setting up right most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gives them the front tip kick and just punch. He learned from that Alex Pereira fight. When he went against Alex Pereira, he got knocked the fuck out. Alex Pereira told him to sit on your punches rather than just tagging people. There's a difference between tagging people and sitting on your punches, because you make them pay for everything that you land on. Because you're just only tapping, it's not going to do much damage. But you want to sit in your punches and cork those punches, they're going to think about it again. Like, for example, is freaking Justin Gaethje. He makes everybody pay. Once he touches them,
yep,
turns him into a Leatherface most of the time. But speaking of having a death touch, another was the co-main event was Jared Cannonier versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Jared Cannonier, he ended up in the losing side of this fight. And Leroy, he looked as he contended for a middleweight. And speaking of a middleweight contender in that division, he was able to catch Cannonier a couple of times, wobble him a couple of times. And Cannonier is usually a linear fighter, likes going forward. But CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan, he stayed patient. He used lateral movement to pick apart Cannonier. Now, Cannonier has been a gatekeeper to the top 5 for a long time. Does this performance put Christian Leroy Duncan into one of the contender status, or do you need to see him against a top tier wrestler before you buy all stock?
Well, that's a good question. I feel like you got to see him against the top tier wrestler. There's too many good wrestlers in the top 5 for it to be,
Because that sort of usually seems to be the litmus test for fighters. Go against a good wrestler, see how you do against them, and then you find your overall game.
Yeah, which, to be honest, going into that weight class, I feel like they should have that idea and should be training, counter wrestling, just at least takedown defense. Yeah, I mean, it's guaranteed you're going to fight somebody at some point who's a very good wrestler.
Yeah. Especially the boogeyman that lives there. Khamzat. He likes wrapping people over, wrapping people up, and it's just a matter of time before he comes back again. The boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the cheaper scripter, perhaps, waiting for his time to come out again. Attack again. Now, Jared Cannonier, it's a little long to, I can't remember. I want to say Jared Cannonier is 40 years old. He started his career at heavyweight.
42.
Huh?
42.
Yeah. He's a
Dang.
little. So what's next for him? That's the question.
Yeah. I mean, as long as he's not on a major losing streak. Let's see. Lost once, one. Yeah.
He's 1-4 of the last 5 fights.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe he does start looking on. I don't know. I was gonna say if he's kind of breaking even with the fights, I mean, yeah, why not? But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. Has he hinted at any? Has he hinted at retirement at all?
No. Because that's one of the questions they asked Dana White. He doesn't like telling fighters when to retire. But it's up to his decision when he wants to retire, if he's still going there. But he looked like he was exposed in this last fight against Leroy Duncan. I mean, before this one, he lost against Ben Page, unanimous decision. And last time he was finished was in the 4th round back in 2024. But last 3 losses were mostly decision. He beat Gregor Rodriguez in 4th round back in 2025, February 2025, in which I think he got awarded 5 out of 9 that day. But yeah, if you 42, man, this picking this the room for possibilities really narrow when you get that
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Now, the only guy, Chase Hooper, aka Ben Askren's son, he looked pretty impressive in this fight. He was able to finish his fight in a minute 15 seconds. He was able to lock in a rear naked choke and finish him.
Mm-hmm.
He's really scrawny kid, and he's a legitimate physical submission artist at lightweight. How is he ceiling if he keeps making this leap bound improvement on the ground? Because there's a guy that just fought last weekend. That's a pretty good grappler. That will be a good matchup again. Both of them lightweight. Patty the Batty versus him.
True. Yep. Yep. They're both young. Both. Yeah.
They're pretty nice to see those two.
Right.
It'll test him, see how good he really is, Chase Super.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be quite a test for Chase, to be honest.
Yes.
But yeah, it would be interesting to see him rise to that challenge.
Yeah. There's another lightweight that just fought last weekend too, in which Patty fought him. King Green.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a pretty good test for him, Chase Hooper. He's only 26 years old. Chase the Dream. Hooper. That's the name. What a nickname. But that'll be nice to see him, see what he's really capable of. Also, I mean, submission, perhaps, maybe older guy. Even though I hate to see older guys get fucked up. What's his name? He's from Sparta, New Jersey. Jim Miller.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to see him get against Jim Miller.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he beat Jim Miller unanimous decision back April last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, if he's trying to build his rank, I think he submitted Clay Guida in 2024 with the armbar. That's performance of the night. But another thing to take consideration for him, he missed weight this time. Chase Hooper.
Really?
Yeah, that's not good for the
No,
boss.
it's not. No, it's not. Especially being young, they can
Yeah.
usually take it better at that age.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's not good. You gotta get your weight under control. 26. Another interesting fact, I told you that he beat Clay with an armbar in 2024, December. Back in December 2022, he beat Clay with a calf slicer in the first round.
Dang.
Yeah. How impressive is that?
That is. That's wild.
Yeah. So it would be nice to see how higher up he goes, especially with his submission. He's able to get crafty like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other guys, see how he does. Moving to the next match was Tommy McMillen. He put an impressive performance this past weekend. He broke the record for most significant strikes, not just strikes, significant strikes, landed the featherweight. He landed 252 significant strikes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What's the criteria for significant strike?
Significant strikes are like straights, hooks,
Okay.
and I'm not sure if jabs are included in there, but they're like trying to go for a finish to consider significant strike, not like body shots. Body shots also could count, especially the liver shots. Those are the ones rather than just tagging for a distance.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Hey, 252, 3 rounds, fine. That's not a 5 rounds, 3 round.
Right.
Do you think that's a pure cardio output, or do you think it's a flaw of his opponent, Montes, not having lack of head movement and defense? Because you have to have a dancing partner when it comes to this type of fights. If it's statistically a bad matchup for the other guy, make you look really, really good.
Right. I know I say it a lot. I feel like it's got to be a combo of both. You know, this guy's to throw that many significant strikes, you have to have phenomenal cardio. But I would also hazard a guess that say the other guy's not moving like he should.
No, and he's unwilling to give up and get knocked out. He just wants to toughen it out, which doesn't work. Usually, your game plan consists of you wearing your opponent's hand with your face. It's not a good game plan. It's not really good game plan at all. But also, it feels he's a really interesting character. This guy, McMillen, he has Scarface tattoos. The world is yours. He looks like a pretty interesting guy. He seems like he's the third brother of the Diaz brothers. The way he was putting out the volume, striking in and out. And also another thing I was trying to ask you was, do you think volume should be considered is a new knockout in fighting? If you were to put a volume on somebody and be able to just overwhelm them to the point they give up, would that be considered the new knockout?
The new knockout?
As far as finishes, fighting for finishes, rather than just that one lucky punch, do you just go for volume, just overwhelm?
I mean, maybe at that weight class, you know. I feel like there's such a mix in there, you know. There's so many people who do so many different things. At that weight class, I think there's very few people that have the one-hit knockout capability. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it is interesting when people are able to use that as a weapon to just put the pace on them. Because like you said, there's not that many in there. That you have one hit knockout. Diego Lopez, maybe. That's what I'm trying to put the rankings. Because Diego Lopez has that weird style. He does go forward. He gets punched a lot. But once he catches you, boy, Gene Silva, before this last one that he fought, he was, bro. You're putting that. Well, in wrestling, is you could see that you're putting the pace on somebody just to go constantly aggressive. That does make sense. But man, in fighting, it can be a double-edged sword because you going forward and they just move out of the way and you catch a punch going forward, can take you out. because it doesn't have to be the powerful of a punch. Your whole body going forward, and then the punch just flushes you. It doesn't take much for you to take you out.
That's a valid point as well. I mean, also, how many times do you see people going for a flurry where they're just hammering on somebody and then they're dead after that? They don't have anything left.
Blue and
That
white.
also is, yeah. Yep.
And also the volume puncher, there's not that anymore in that weight class, which was Max Holloway. Max Holloway was not known for a knockout guy either. That's what Gaethje was in. Also, I don't know why fighters do that. Like, well, this guy's not a knockout artist, and they get knocked out. But it's like that happened to Justin Gaethje. That happened to Masvidal when he said about Usman that he was a knockout guy. He got he hit him so hard that you stop the frame when he got hit. The sweat and the all the spit that came out, it looked like the galaxy. You can see the galaxy from there. That's how bad he got hit.
Yeah, talk too much trash, man. You pay for it.
Yeah, boom. And he's lights out. We should know somebody to crucify people. It's three Jesus. He got mauled by him, but you can don't say, whatever you do, don't say that about your fighter, your
Yeah.
opponent.
Yeah.
But they'll try to knock you out, knock you dead. And you be clip form, and then you be highlight reel for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has a lot of stock, McMillen. Now, do you think volume is more important than power?
It's hard to rank it as more important. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just like if you can keep going, you keep throwing the punches. Yeah, I mean, you could win by just tagging somebody lightly a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that works pretty well. I would say that probably works better the majority of the time than haymakers.
Yeah, because you need a
So
perfect
I
timing.
guess exactly, yeah. I guess that probably is true.
But you're more likely. If you have the gas tank to do it, might as well fucking go. Boom. Not everybody has that gas tank. That's the thing.
Right.
The higher you go, everybody has a good conditioning. The higher up your ranking. But it is impressive that he was able to do that. As those, he was like a Nate Diaz 2.0. His nickname is The Gun. Tommy
The gun.
Gun McMillen, like the Tommy Gun. Get it? He's 20 years old. 6 foot. He fights at featherweight, 146. That's a tall guy.
That is
How tall is Diego Lopez?
Diego Lopez.
Because he's pretty tall too. 5'11". Right there. That's pretty tall for 145.
I would think very tall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he has a lot of potential. I mean, he's definitely a character. He has Scarface on his chest. The world is yours. And on the other side of his chest, he has Lightning McQueen from the Weakers. That's a big difference. He looked like the Joker, the Jared Leto's Joker. That's what he reminded me of.
Yeah.
The McMillen. But I mean, if he's that much of a character, he has pretty good chance of becoming a star. If he keep putting out that much volume on his opponent, that'd be good. Now, I would like to see if freaking Sean O'Malley, he jumps up to 145, that'd be a good fight between them two.
Right. That would.
See how he does, because Sean O'Malley, he's able to do just volume, and then when he gets to you, boom, he has a good timing too.
Mm-hmm.
But that'd be a good matchup. But as of right now, I'm not sure what he still had to fight his way to the top 15 in the weight class.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Pico, that's one thing I can think of, or Pitbull, Patrick Pitbull from Bellator. I mean, Patrick Pitbull is no rank, but he's a former Bellator champion. It'd be a good matchup for him to fight at 145. I mean, if you try and build up his stock. Yeah, so Pitbull is not a volume fighter, which make him look good. He usually seems to hesitate, flinches too much. But that'll be interesting. See if it'll help build him, McMillen's stock. It seems very marketable star. But now let's shift gears to a story that frankly sounds biologically impossible. Summer 2025, Ben Askren is in critical condition, battling a severe pulmonary disease. He undergoes a double lung transplant, and his weight drops down to 138 pounds. Flash forward to July 18th, less than a year later, he steps onto the mat of RAF 11 to wrestle the former UFC welterweight champion Belal Muhammad. When I first heard this, he was taking a live match. I think it was a rumor to go from double lung transplant to scrambling on the wrestling mat for under 12 months is mind-boggling. Now, Nate, as someone who follow him recently, what was your initial reaction when you saw Askren that he walked out to the mat this past weekend? What do you think about his going out there putting in his performance?
I mean, there's a lot, honestly. Seeing how he was not so long ago, post surgery, so thin, so frail, to how he looked getting out on the mats. He looked pretty good. Clearly, I mean, obviously he's, not how he was before, but I think he wanted to prove to a lot of people like what you can recover from. It did feel like he almost wasn't even doing it for himself as much as he was doing it to help other people. I don't know if that's the impression that you got, but I felt like he wanted to prove to people that you can do more than you think you can. And I think he did a great job at that. Because it is just unbelievable the amount of work that he put in, that he had to have put in to get to that level.
Yeah. Because he does show, like you were saying, he proved that he's not a victim of his circumstances of a crappy situation that he was put in. I mean, whenever I saw that he needed a double transplant, I was like, there's no way they were to get double lung transplant for him. I used to work with a couple of patients that needed a double lung transplant. It was years and years for them to get eligible for lung transplant. So whenever I said, like, dude, I don't know if you were to make it. And I mean, he was able to get the lung transplant, able to lung recovery. And he has to be on antibiotics for the rest of his life because of the lung transplant. And then usually the quality of life of those patients is not that good after having double lung transplant. And he's able to prove that, be able to perform, go out there. Because I've seen some of his shows that he does with Daniel Cormier. He was coughing, gasping for air just for talking. And then recently he has overcome that. Because he was able to, whatever condition he was able to get on the air down for get his condition up and working out. So it doesn't take as much toll on his joints, but he's able to work his lungs working out. But it is really impressive and inspirational seeing him go out there and perform in, like we have talked about here before. Performance is not so much just about just winning losses. It's more than that. And he has proved in this case that there are other battles in matches that you fight outside the mat. Not so much it shows in your record in performing, but also performing for his kids. It shows how tough he is going there perform, because I think he retired. I think his kids have seen him wrestle before, because he retired from wrestling before going to MMA. And I think his kids have seen him perform, and then seeing him perform after having that, I mean, is a perfect example for them to show to his kids that anything is possible. You can overcome anything in life. You might not get the outcome that you want to get, but you go out there and you show up. Because during the match, he was winning the match till going to, I think it was the third period. He lost against one because, I mean, he lost his lung.
Right.
But his conditioning, but I've seen an interview where he talked about that, in which whenever he was doing the air exercises, his lungs, it's not much they were burning, it's his legs that were giving out faster than his conditioning. In which that's what happened during the match. He said his legs, they just what he was able to keep up. I mean, your legs are usually the farthest extremity from your heart and your lungs, so it does make sense for them to wear out faster than the rest of your body, especially sports that you do standing up. But it is really inspirational seeing him go out there, his funky style, scrambling and using his leverage, because at a certain time it looks like Bilal Muhammad was able to get some takedowns, but he was to pivot and be able to score on Bilal Muhammad on those scramble. But I mean, 100% respect to this guy for going out there and overcoming this big challenge in life. I mean, what else can I've got a better example in life than this, because he last match was I can't remember, was against Jake Paul. He got knocked out before he had the lung issues. He's a big ambassador of the sport of wrestling. He was trying to train for a match, an REF, the first one before his illness happened. Life happens. He was able to finally compete in the 11th event of the organization and prove that you can still overcome those. He retired coincidentally. Also, it was his birthday that night. They were singing "Happy Birthday" in the arena. And he retired. Also, he was in home, Wisconsin, but he hung his boots. And I mean, how many people do they get to retire at home when it comes to athletes?
Yeah, that's not a frequent thing.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't let his illness determine his retirement. He went on his own 2 feet, standing up, taking his shoes off, and living on the middle of the mat, which is admirable.
Yeah.
And now, for our final topic today, we touches on something wrong, but super important in combat sports. Dustin Poirier recently shared that he has reached 30 days sober following his public drugness arrest in Atlanta airport over Father's Day weekend back in June. Dustin was super candid about it, admitting that he had a dark spot post retirement, saying, "I need help," and explicitly stating that he wants to break that generational cycle of alcohol abuse for his wife, Jolie, and his daughters. Now, Dustin has always been held up to the gold standard of professionalism in MMA. When you saw him speak openly about his struggle post retirement, what went through your mind about the transition fighters face when they step away from competition?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, I mean, I feel like you see that type of thing very frequently, you know? Like their excitement in life is gone, so they're just looking for something, you know?
Yeah.
And that I don't know if he had struggled with alcohol or if he was just used to seeing alcohol struggles or, you know, whatever that was, but I mean, clearly that's not the right thing to turn to.
According to some of the guys, Dean Thomas and Dimas Vidal and Chris Weidman said whenever they would go, like, offer him like, "Go drink for me with us," he's like, "Nah, man, I get too crazy when I go drinking. When I drink," that's what he said. So he seems like he didn't have a whole. It's not just one drink. It's just drinking, and then just getting belligerent and acting a fool. He chalk it up to generational cycle of alcohol abuse. Because remember when he was younger, he used to meet people who was at the police department and try to fight in front of the police department. I don't know if you remember about he talking about that. That's what he
No.
used to do back in the day. So that way save him a ride from them, pick him up from the street. This is go take him to jail from there. But that's the kind of life that he was used to. Probably those Barry's family, they were also a burden on him and growing up. And he doesn't want that cycle to keep going. His kids, his wife, ruin their relationship for these kind of things. Now, going back to Ben Askren. Ben Askren, he said he posted a video, sent it to DC the same day of some of his guys were wrestling Dustin Poirier in the Atlanta airport, the day that he got arrested.
Really?
So Dustin Poirier was drunk, and some of the guys were like wrestling him at the restaurant, like, yeah, like I bet he can take you down. So they were like playing around stuff like that. I'm not sure that might add up to why he was not allowed in the plane because he was wrestling around with all the guys,
Yeah.
thinking that they were
Dang.
fighting or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't be crazy to think.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like, you the guy responsible for him not getting in the flight. Typical Ben Askren being a troll. But I saw he did not behave well after the cop show up to like, hey man, like it calmed down. It's like, you're a bunch of hoes. Like this bunch of hoes don't let me in the airplane.
Yeah.
Like, I'll fight you right now. It's like, what were you trying to fight a freaking officer?
Yeah.
It never ends up good. But it seems like that is on goals of previous life, something like that. I have this. It's not so much a hypothesis, but a presumption in which we always talk about monsters under the bed and about horror stuff and haunting. But it seems as our behaviors are the same way, haunting behaviors, the decisions that we make haunt us along the life. And not so much just us as consequences, also your kids feel those consequences because they see this behavior and they mirror the same behavior as they get older. They cannot explain why the behavior is happening. It's something that has been bottling up, but eventually just shows up in the worst time. It's not your terrible person, it just shows up sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it seems like you learn from it, not, follow it, but yeah, it does seem like
How much can you control it? That's the thing. If you part the behavior that you were molded into, it's like trying to hold it, and then eventually you have to handle shit in a certain time. Otherwise, it will come and haunt you when you don't handle it well. Because it's just bottle up something. I also know some people don't handle alcohol well either. Because you have people that you drinking, like you chill drinking and stuff like that. Some people just get drunk and watch YouTube video and laugh all freaking night.
right.
And then other people just trying to freaking fight. Like, I mean, for example, I have a guy that I was in college. This guy was like 275 pounds. When he would get drunk, he'd try to fight people. I remember one time we were at the party, it's like, hey, time to go, let's go. And then he didn't want to go. So we had to pick him up, try to put him in the car. And this motherfucker started wobbling around. So it's hard for us to pick him up like this motherfucker. So he'll get like, okay, so we drop him. So we drop him on the floor. He got up and run at my friend's car and put a freaking dent on the door. I
God.
was like, shit. This fucking guy, man, is a fucking nightmare. So okay, let's get in the freaking car. Let's go get out of here. He goes, I mean, the party's over. We have to get out of here anyways. So he went to McDonald's trying to sober him up. And then on the way to his apartment, take him we were on the side of the railroad track, so the railroad, that train was coming through. This motherfucker gets out of the car, trying to find the fucking train, yelling at the train. It's like, oh, you gotta fucking. But yeah, man, like some people don't know how to handle the alcohol.
It's strange how it affects different people different ways, but it's gotta be, yeah.
By the way, now he's a chiropractor, by the way.
Well, good.
He turned his life around, but man, when we had to handle him, dude, when he was like drunk, like, oh my God, this freaking guy. They always trying to like fight someone, like, come on, I'll fight you, like, whatever, dude, whatever.
I don't think I've ever had any kind of alcohol make me want to fight.
No. If anything, makes me sleepy.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Dude, and then we have another guy. This had to be the worst and the shittiest story, like during drinking, because we have a friend, no names. So we used to call him Twerkas. With our friends, we used to call him Twerkas. But we were at a party, and he was one of those sneaky drinkers. He was like, I want to say 6'5", 165 pounds. Really, really skinny. But he was drinking, because we were drinking like beer and stuff like that. But he always hit a fifth of Sky vodka. He was just drinking it by himself. And you know how drunk he was along the night? Because he was over wore a t-shirt and some jeans. But whenever he was drunk, he would change into basketball shorts. That's how you know he was drunk.
No.
That's how you know he was drunk.
That's such a funny like signal. Like, no.
The shorts are out. But dude, it was so that night. I had some shitty phone, so my phone was dying. So I'm gonna go to my apartment, walk down the street, go get my charger, and then come back to the party. When I was coming back to the party, people were coming out of the apartment screaming. Ah! I was like, what the fuck happened? So I go over there, and the guy, the lift there, he comes out there with a dustpan and a freaking soft shit in the dustpan. It's like, what the fuck? Like, no, this dark guy's fucking shit in my fucking living room. So he tried to throw it over the balcony and got over a fucking wall.
Oh.
I was like, no. So he's like, apparently he get drunk and he came out of there with his shorts on. He got in the middle of the living room. He's like, where the party at? And shit just started rolling down his leg into his socks. I'm like, dude. So after that, he ran into the bathroom and locked himself in the bathroom. Like, hey man, come on, let's get out. I know. He passed out drunk. So the next morning, there was a girl that was one of our friends, no names. So she passed out drunk on the bed. When he got out of the bed and he lay down on the bed, that he know she was in there with shit on his socks and his pants. He lay on the bed in there, and then the next morning the girl woke up and she didn't say a damn thing. She just started cleaning up. She thought that she had shit in the bed. It makes you wonder how many times she had done that.
Yeah, right.
She started cleaning up everything, cleaning the bathroom.
And then again.
It's okay, guys. Don't tell me anything. I'll take it. I don't need an ear beating right now. I'll clean it up.
Gosh.
I was like, oh my god, what the? But yeah, that's had to be the shittiest drug.
I
Like
would
people,
say.
like some people don't know how to handle alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't want to be hypocritical. I mean, I just had a couple of beers before this, but some people just don't know how to handle it. And it's one of those things. The only way through hell is through hell when it comes to alcohol. But good for Dustin Poirier is also admirable. He's able to own up to his mistakes, not to have excuses, and doing the right steps for his family. I mean, he said he's going through some stuff. I saw an interview with he does with those guys, Dean Thomas and Masvidal and Chris Wyman. He talked about for his retirement because that's one of the big things that they talk about: retiring life after being a fighter, like the highs, lows, and lows. It's hard to emulate the same thing. The only thing I can chalk it up that would be equal to being Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin after going to the moon. There's nothing that you do in life that will be equal to going to the moon here in flat surface compared to going on the space. So same thing for fighters being that high. It's hard to emulate that. And he said it's not so much the financial part of retirement that he wasn't ready for. It's the mental part because he's always busy with training. And whenever life got like too weird, he would just go back and start a new camp, training, prepare for the next fight, and do fighting stuff that he always does. For example, Dean Thomas used the example that what helped him transition was during that time, he had a gym. He used to train people, and that helped him transition from fighting into the coaching part. That helped him a lot to try to channel that same energy because parallel universe, but at the same time, is the same energy span. But the same high is not the same when it comes to winning and performing and the nervousness, because nervousness for going to the fight is hard to emulate as well because it's uncertainty that you're going in there. And that's what it feels like life is for them now after fighting, because uncertainty is you don't have a structure because you have structure for striking, you have structure for grappling, you have structure for kicking, all that. But for life itself, it's an open highway. It has so many avenues that you don't know which way to go. And if you're not mentally prepared, it will overwhelm you because it's too much. Consider you have done one of the most dangerous sport out there.
Yeah. 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 It's just not. Yeah. It's like you get calloused to the adrenaline, I feel like they're so used to like so much it takes. It's almost like a drug, you get used to a certain dose and you gotta up that dose, and then you go into retirement and it's just not there anymore to deal with that.
Especially those dopamine, like just like try and get there, accelerate, boom. Do you think in the MMA community and promotion needs to offer a better psychological transition programs for retired fighters? Or I think it's the inevitable hurdle for every elite athlete has to conquer in their own terms.
That's a good question. I don't know if it's necessarily the like. I think there's room for that. There's demand for that. But yeah, I don't know. That's hard because I feel like that looks different for everybody.
Yeah, because results may vary. Fighters are contractors for a reason. There should be resources available for them, but they don't have to be a requirement for them to be part of the program when it comes to retiring. Because retirement for BJ Penn compared to retirement for GSP is two different spectrum. It's not even the same. So whatever applies for BJ Penn won't apply for GSP or other fighters. But there should be some sort. I'm pretty sure BJ Penn needs more help than GSP when it comes to retirement.
Yeah,
Uh,
that poor guy.
yeah. But I'm not sure what other main sports have available for their athletes when it comes to retirement, because other athletes as well, they also they kind of have the experience the same way of being seen as everybody seems to, hey man, like, good job, stuff like that, or winning a game or those kind of things. But eventually when life going back to regular life, that goes away. Being seen as that, so it becomes an identity at that point. And when you lose that identity, do you lose yourself as well? Trying to get the same attention.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine a lot of people go through that in different sports.
Yeah. Speaking of not controlling your alcohol, this past weekend there was a guy in Oklahoma City during the fight. He got home and look what happened. He had a freaking guy in the back of his truck. Can you hear it?
Oh, you all right? Yeah. Hey, Andrew, you got a stray. Open it up. You got someone in the bed of your truck. Open it up. Are you okay? You good? I'm good. You didn't want to knock on the window or nothing? Nope. You want to get an Uber? You got a friend you can call? I got her. You got it. You open it.
He's
Open
drunk
what?
as drunk
yeah,
can be.
tailgate. Yeah, oh, the
How do you
tailgate.
open the back of a freaking truck?
Oh my God! I didn't you? You're all the way in Edmond, Oklahoma. Thank you kindly. Not a problem, man.
That's a cowboy if I've ever seen a cowboy.
Yeah.
Imagine running being that drunk. I think it's like 22-minute drive in the back of in the bed of the truck.
Dang. Well, now he's got a story.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you may wake up you're that drunk, you think that you have been kidnapped.
Or maybe you just don't care. Because that dude was definitely still pretty drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, he's have a good night. Long way home though.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, but I can imagine waking up in a different place. Do you have those times that you black out during drinking?
Once or twice. Not very often. But yeah. Yeah. Oosh. I can't imagine.
Yeah, because there's one thing passing out, but another thing is blacking out. Like, yeah, you were here. Like, you really? Like, yeah, I am. One thing I remember was in college. My friend always used to drink and shit like that. We're trying to emulate or replicate rather the hangover. So we used to drinking at the apartment. Then we would go like out to go different parties. My eyesight is terrible, and when I get drunk, it's even worse. I was going out, and I was yelling out the window, "Hey, girl, let me see that butt." It was my girlfriend. Dude, I didn't know it was her. She was coming out of work. We was driving by.
Yeah, I knew it was you. That's why I asked.
I got an ear beat the next day. Hey, you been going out with your friends yelling at girls? Let me see that butt. Is that what you guys do? But dude,
hard to deny that one.
Oh yeah, it was you. I know it was you. I know you were there.
Yeah.
But then after that, we went to another party, and we were partying there, and then we got kicked out because they're like, "Oh no, you guys don't welcome me. You gotta get out of here." Okay, so we left out of there, and it's like, okay, it's a parking lot. Let's fuck with these people. We took all the windshield wipers and stacked them up. Good luck with that motherfucker.
Oh my God.
To see how he goes, my buddy, that drunk one that he always like to fight. He was like, yeah, usually he worked at AutoZone. He hated changing windshield wipers. Like, let's take all smoke. I know how much a nightmare they are because especially different cars, they take the windshield wiper differently.
Right.
So
yeah.
I took all them off and put them in the stack. Like, yeah, fuck them all. The next morning they're gonna be pissed. It's not like we stole it. It's not considered a theft if you just took them off.
My gosh.
Well, then after that, we ended up a party that there were rollerblades or something like that. Like, where's the freaking rollerblade in the middle of the country? You are there, living there. And meanwhile, the whole time we were riding in a Subaru wagon the whole time. We styled the chick magnet that we had.
Yeah.
That's when my girlfriend knew also that it was me that was yelling out of the window because it's my friend's car. The only green Ford Taurus wagon in the town, in the college town. You see somebody driving that thing. And then after that, I went to my girlfriend's, and then the next day, like, dude, you missed it, man. Like, we went to the West End apartment. And my roommate is gay and started wearing gay porn. I was like, what? I'm okay.
Yeah. Glad I missed that one.
I was like, oh my God. And there was only one girl, but this girl was a little bit of a flusy too. So like, oh my God, like, oh, I'm glad I missed the whole thing. I will never be able to get out of my head. Like, how did you end up from a rollerblade party to a freaking, like, did you pick him up or somebody else from the rollerblade party? But yeah, it was really nice like that. Like and then sometimes we would go to the club, things like that. And at the time of this time, I was a designated driver. I was 20 years old in like 10 months or something like that. Like 2 months to turn 21. So I wasn't allowed to drink in the club. So what I would do is drink 4 beers before I go into the club. And just, I was there dancing the night off. So it was like 5 hours in there because we get there at 9. And we gonna live here like till 2 in the morning. When the club, I was sober up by then. But doesn't mean the other drivers that were living out there were sober. So I was driving the wagon on the highway. And the whole time in the back, you hear cans of beer because the guys were drinking their ass off. And there was this car that was passing, and I slowed down because it was swerving sideways.
Mm.
From one lane to the other, oh shit, this guy's drunk. And it's like, okay. So I slowed down because it's part of the highway. There's no lights. There's nothing around there. I thought the guy's like, watch this. This guy's going to go over the rail. And sure enough, he just went right, left, and boom, into the woods. I was like, oh shit, like, we got to stop because like, nobody's going to see him under there in the woods. So we got out there. The owner of the car, he got out of there with freaking safety goggles and a hard hat because I said he worked for work. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you need a vest too? What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile,
High vis, man.
Make it fucking obvious. So you get a bunch of cans of beer. You hear like, when they get out of the car, it's like, oh shit. Like, so we call 911 because they won't be able to see him, and they're like trying to remember what's the last mile marker that we passed on the highway. What happened was it wasn't a drunk driver. It was an old couple that was driving from Maryland to Florida, and the husband was falling asleep.
Hey.
And he got a cut right here on his head, and I mean, it wasn't bad bleeding, but his wife was out. Like, I don't know if she was sleeping, but she was out. I was like, dude, I don't know if she had a heart attack or anything. I checked on her, and they called one day the state trooper show up. I was like, oh shit, let's get in the fucking like, you guys okay? Like, yeah, we just witnessed what happened. So luckily, was the woods was in the median. of the highway. So I had parked on this side and the state trooper was on the other side. So he didn't get close to our car. Because when we got in there, you hear all the cans of beers like
Yeah.
dude, if he sees this, he's going to think that we caused this fucking accident. I don't need this shit. Like, in that case, I'm not fucking driving.
Right.
This is your car. I'm not driving anything. But luckily he was like, yeah, like is everything okay, officer? Fucking asshole with the hard hat. Like, shut the fuck up, guys. Like, get the fuck out of here, right? So we just drove out there. But I was glad that I stopped because, I mean, they won't be able to find them down there. Like, because one of those places, the country, you don't see them. But yeah, we were afraid. Like, dude, I don't know if the lady died. But she was laying, like, back. Like, it looked like she had been sleeping. Like, boom, yeah, man. Like, some people, like, you have to just back off sometimes when you see some of those cars, like, dude. Because you never know what's going to happen. Boom. I don't have anything else, any more drunk stories from college. Do you have anything else? Okay. Do you want to close out?
Sure. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Give us a listen on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. Give us a follow on Instagram. Let us know what you like and what you don't like. See you guys next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mad Matters podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube so you never miss an episode. Drop us a review, share with your training partners, and keep rolling on and off the mat. Until next time, keep fighting, keep learning, keep growing.
Rise up, fight.